Guys, welcome back to our third and final segment. As Gary just alluded to, this is it's power packed. We have some amazing people that will be joining us. We just have three more people that are going to be joining. But beforehand, I want to turn it real quick over to Mr. Gary DeRitter for a little bit of housekeeping and a few announcements.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Jason, and thanks for your support here during this 3-hour plus session. Man, it's just great information. It's so much fun. I want to give a shout out, just as I did to Jeff in honoring Jeff Mack. I also want to give a shout out to Casey Council Jihad. Casey is at the center of everything that we do with One Team Global in North America. She is the chair of One Team Global's core team for North America. She's an extraordinary individual, and she couldn't be with us today. She's off doing some masterminding and some personal development, and she's healthy and well and all of those things. But we will see her on the future. And in fact, we have this broad staff for curriculum that we will be rotating some of the subjects. We'll be rotating a number of the speakers as we do this again next month. So we're looking forward to that. But let me say, as we go into a part 3 here, once again, I have to remind everybody that Nu Skin products are not for the cure, treatment, or mitigation of disease. If you have a known issue of some kind, then you should be seeing a qualified healthcare professional. And from a business standpoint, this is a business that is literally free to join, that there is no purchase required, and that you can begin to build the business. And our income is earned on the sale of products and the use of products by our customers, our members. We love our customers and our members. And so with that, I'm going to turn it back to Jason for our final 3 speakers, and put on your seatbelts. This is going to get good.
Absolutely. The next young man that I'm going to introduce is probably suffering the most throughout this quarantine period. He is an amazing father of 3. His mom was actually one of the founders of Nu Skin, and his dad, one of the founding distributors of Nu Skin. So basically, he was raised in the business. If anyone knows the Nu Skin culture, it is this young man. So get on and get your notes ready. He is going to be covering some of our compensation and how the compensation side of this works. So Mr. Derek Tillotson, will you please join us and share about compensation?
I am happy to, and I have to say that I have been blown away with today's event. Thank you, everybody, for organizing this and coordinating it. You're right, Jason, it has been pretty rough out here in Hawaii. Oh, man, I came here for spring break with my kids. My whole family was here. Then the day before we left to go back to Utah, we got an email from my kids' school, and they said, well, we're going to be moving classes online. And we kind of looked at each other and said, yep, let's stay here rather than going to Utah. And then since then they've had an earthquake and all sorts of crazy stuff. And it's been pretty nice here. So don't feel bad for me at all during this whole process. But man, I love the flexibility and just the control that Nu Skin gives me, where we were able to say, yep, let's stay here. And anyway, wishing the best for everybody, and I want you to make the most of this time. And I think that's why it's so important that we're here talking about this business, because for the past few years, we have been blessed with a great economy, which, is great because people are able to, they have more money and things to spend on products. But really for our business, it ends up making it a little bit more difficult because people get in this, everything's going to work out phase. But I'll tell you, they just had their eyes opened a little bit that sometimes things don't work out, right? And so I want to pull up my presentation right now and start going over some things. And I've had just some thoughts that have been bouncing around. I wanted to put them on a presentation that everybody could kind of follow along as we talk about a business that works even when the world doesn't. And that is Nu Skin, guys. Nu Skin is still working. Every day I get an email, it seems like, and they're, hey guys, we're still shipping. Everything is still going good. We're working remote or whatever, but things are still, and I get lots of emails about disruptions and interruptions to life, and Nu Skin is staying on track. So a business that works even when the world doesn't. So let's talk about the work that we need to do. Guys, it doesn't change very much. When you see the system that we have here, we still need to invite, tell the story, and ask people to join. And Nick and Christina did a great job of speaking online communication, what posts we need to do, and how we can position ourselves to build our businesses online. I grew up building my business before we were really doing much on social media. So I learned to rely heavily on the in-person invitation, or over the phone, or now through Messenger. And so even if you're putting posts out there, that's attracting people. But let's talk really quickly about going to people, right? And that is with an invitation. This is the simple process of our system that we've been using. This is step 3, 4, and 5, right? Of our system 7. And so that's the thing, is even though we're in quarantine, even though we're on lockdown, the flow of the business really stays the same. And if you're familiar with it, or if you're just hearing this for the first time, this is what you need to do. You need to invite people to hear the story, which kind of goes into products, business, compensation, and then you ask them to join. And I've always been terrible at scripts and languaging. And so what I've always kind of made myself do is write something out and then memorize a script. And so that's kind of what I've been relying on. And that's what I wanted to do with you real quick. If you look, I just posted this script in the comments below. So if you want to copy or paste or whatever, then you can have that. But talk to your upline. They may have some tweaks for you. I'll admit that I am not the best in the business at making scripts, but an invitation right now, this is what I am saying. I check in. How are you doing? How has your life been impacted? And you know what? Everybody's life has been impacted, and everybody is kind of eager to share in their experience with things. Now, they're going to unload. They're going to talk about, they're going to give you so much information about where they are right now, mentally and physically, right? How has your life been impacted? I guarantee work is going to come up as part of that conversation. And being sociable, they're going to reverse it right back to you. They're going to say, how are you holding up? How are you doing? And this gives you an opportunity to tell your story. You can say, well, you know what? I honestly, I feel blessed. For the last, in my case, 15 years, I have been building a business from home and helping other people build a business from home. We never saw this coming in a million years, but I feel so fortunate to have this business right now. Really? Wow, that's different. I haven't heard that before, right? And now you have your call to action. Now, I've been thinking about you this whole time because compliment, not because I saw you post that you lost that your financial situation is destroyed, right? You give them a compliment here. I thought about you because you've always been so nice and so good communicating with people. We are in the middle of a major product launch. Still, it is moving forwards. Now, if you don't have any plans tonight, kind of make that a joke, right? Are you going to the movies? Are you going to see are you going to a concert tonight? If you don't have any plans, are you open to a quick call to discuss what I've been doing? This may or may not be for you, right? So really, really simple script for you to get down cold so you can deliver hot, right? And our business is all about talking to people. And this opens the door. Posturing is going to be really important. And then that puts you in a position to tell the story, right? You invite somebody to now tell the story. We talk about products, LifePak Nano, G3, AIE 10, AgeLock Youth, right? My youth is somewhere. Here it is. This is stuff that I have been using every single day for years and years. But specifically now when health is such an important thing, it's a really easy product to talk about. The business story, Nick Weinecker did a good job going over some of the business story in the first. If you missed the first section, this is broken up into 3 sections. Go back and listen to the first section, because you hear from Tyler Whitehead, you hear from Tanner Gibb, you hear from talking about the business story. And then I'm going to talk about compensation here in a minute. And then you're asking people to join with that enrollment process. I learned a really simple script. I say, hey, at this point, I've invited you. I've told you the story of the business, the products, compensation. People fall into one of 3 categories. 1, they want to do the business with us at a business level. 2, they want to do it at a casual level. Or 3, they want to be on the products. And we talk about the different getting started options in those. Where do you see yourself, a 1, 2, or a 3? So asking people to join is critical. Some people are really good at inviting. Some people are really good at presenting. What I have always been best at is the follow-up. It's asking people to join. I don't mind doing that at all, because I know nothing's going to happen in my business without asking somebody to join. Now I'm going to transition real quick and talk a little bit about the nuts and bolts, the compensation plan. We are working on a new presentation. It's going to be awesome. It is not approved yet. So what I'm going to be talking about today and using as my slides are kind of some of the general slides that the company uses. So I'm going to speak in some broad strokes here. I'm not going to do my deep dive that I would traditionally do on the compensation plan. But the compensation plan was designed and built by my dad, my grandma, and people in my family, right? The distributors made our compensation plan. They did it because they wanted a plan that would reward leadership long term. That's what our plan is about. It's about becoming a leader and building an organization long term, right? And so in our compensation plan, there are 3 parts. There is a front end, a middle, and the back. The front over here is labeled share. The middle is labeled build, and the back end is labeled lead. On the front end of the plan, we get paid to share product. There is a sharing bonus attached to each one of our products. And this has a pretty broad, range, and anywhere from a 5% markup to all the way to 100% markup on a product like our toothpaste. Every time you share a product to somebody on your front line, meaning one of your front level customers or distributors, you get paid a sharing bonus daily, right? This is paid daily. And this is a great way to launch people that need money right now. I'm seeing so many people post things like, hey, if you come in and if I cut your hair, why don't you come or why don't you pay me now and we'll carry that over for your next appointments with a discount, right? People are needing money right now because of what is happening in the world, and we have an opportunity there, right? I'm not saying this from the standpoint of, oh, this is our opportunity to get them, right? To get people to join our business, but no, this is our opportunity to help somebody, right? That might not have any other way to work or use their service, right? Like, what other things can you do that pay you daily right now? Well, do a post on social media following the steps that Nick and Christina shared, and you can get paid daily by sharing. Your first goal when you join is to do 1,000 points in volume in your first calendar month. This starts your qualification towards a brand representative. Okay, it's your LOI. That's step number 1. Once you've accomplished that, you're still in the sharing side at the front end of our compensation plan. And now we are talking, your next little goal is to do 5,000 points in 3 months or 6,000 points in 6 months. And you look at the building blocks and again, I'm not going to do a deep dive on that, but you're looking at getting the points so that you become a brand representative. Now, when you become a brand rep, something really exciting happens. You still earn that sharing bonus. Okay, every time you sell a product, social media, or somebody just buys a product at wholesale or retail price, you still earn that sharing bonus. But now you qualify for a building bonus, which is paid weekly. And this happens not just on level 1, but level 2, 3, 4, 5, and beyond on any product sold by your growing organization. And this ranges anywhere from 5 to 40%. The more volume you do, the higher that percentage becomes. And this can become a big piece now, especially as groups are growing quickly. They're doing a lot of volume. People are reaching the 35%, all the way up to the 40% level of commission on their circle group volume. Now, once you do that, your goal is simple. It's to help other people go through their qualification, do 1,000 points, and then go through their 5,000 points in 3 months, right? So they can become brand reps. As that happens, you become a leader. And that takes us to the back end of the compensation plan, where you are paid monthly for your leadership. So you're paid daily for the individual sales that you're doing. You're getting paid weekly for the team sales that you're doing. And then on the back end, you're paid monthly for the leadership that you bring to the marketplace, as you help develop other pin titles and leaders in the business. Now, the next slide, this covers some of the average monthly commission levels and things in this category right here that I just circled with the red box. this shows the average monthly commissions at each level of our business. If you look down here at brand rep, the average brand rep makes about $500 a month, which could help a lot of people right now. The average gold executive, lapis, emerald, ruby, diamond, and blue diamond, the average blue diamond makes $37,000 a month. So big range there. And I should point out that join our company because that's kind of where they plateau. They say, hey, I love this stuff. I'm going to use these products and make them a part of my daily life. And even though they signed up to become distributors, they are basically just doing it to get the product at wholesale. And then if you look at the amount of people that become LOI, if you look at the amount of people that become leaders in our business, that number gets smaller and smaller, as it does in any industry. When you look at the top levels of basketball, or if you look at the top levels of any industry, sales or marketing or the medical field or whatever, right? There's going to be a fallout of people that do not do what's required to reach the top levels of the business. Same thing with us. Now, when I joined Nu Skin, I was a senior in high school. I was 18 years old. And man, I sat there in my first meeting and I saw that there was an opportunity. It's like I had an angel and a devil on my shoulder. The angel was like, this looks pretty good. The devil goes, dude, you're 18. Nobody's going to buy vitamins from an 18-year-old. Are you insane? Your friends can't even afford tickets to a movie, right? And there's this war that was happening inside me, going back and forth. But luckily, the angel won. At the end of the day, I thought of why I wanted to do the business, and that was because of my family. Now, I was 18. I did not have a family at the time, but I hope that someday I would be in a position to be a dad. And I wanted to give them a gift, right, of my time, of being able to travel the world with them. And so when I joined as an 18-year-old kid, it was because of the family I was going to have at some point later down the road. And so grateful that I did the work necessary, right? I put in the hours. I went through the process. I developed myself as a person, and I started to invite guys. I made a list as an 18-year-old, and I started calling the list. And I said, hey, I'm doing something cool. I don't know if it's right for you, but are you open to looking at it? That's the same conversation that we're having right now, right? And so, and that's how I learned how to do the business. I got better and better and better through practice. And I moved through those levels of the business. Now, I was a lapis for a long time. I was a lapis for 4 years because I'd kind of become comfortable at that level. Then when I met my wife, we started talking about marriage, and all of a sudden I became uncomfortable because I was going to start providing for that family. That was my motivation to begin with, right? And so that's why I really engaged in the business. And I went from lapis to diamond in 5 months. And then we were blue diamonds 1 year later. Now, my results are not typical, right? There are some people that do the business a lot longer and don't reach those levels. A big part of that, though, you guys, is the amount of numbers that you go through. Now, when I started my business, you would talk to, and I don't know the exact numbers, you would talk to a group of people and you'd find 1 or 2 people that were open, right? What this, global crisis has done is it's put everybody in a state of openness, at least to, wow, I didn't know that this could happen, right? And so again, not to take advantage of the situation, that's not what we're doing at all, but we are helping people see an opportunity here, either to make money daily, weekly, or monthly. Here is a simple little explanation of the business. There are steps. And to kind of sum up my conversation on compensation here, step number 1, 1,000 points. If you're new as part of the business, new on the team, first thing you got to do here, guys, 1,000 points. That starts the qualification. That's products that you're ordering. That's products that are being consumed anywhere in your organization. 1,000 points. Your next step is to do 5,000 points in 3 months. And this is based on 10 active distributors, right? That makes you now a brand rep. So you go from just earning the sharing bonus to now earning the building bonus. And then, guys, it's simple. Steps 3 through 1,000 is this. It's you're helping, you do 3,000 points in group sales volume every single month, and you help others again and again and again. Now this looks pretty simple, right? But let me back up a little bit. There's a lot more steps to this, right? You do 1,000, you do 1,000 points here, you become a brand rep here, and then you help other people. This is what you do. You spend the rest of your life helping people, and you will get sick of it. You will say, you know what, I keep climbing this staircase. It doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. It doesn't feel like I'm going anywhere. But what you're doing is you're laying the foundation of yourself. You need to develop the skills, right? So you're learning how to do it better yourself, one. And two, you're connecting people with an opportunity, right? I look back at some of those first phone calls that I made. It seemed pretty depressing and scary at the time. But when I look back at the return on investment of those first relationships. Now, we are part of the One Circle of spoke to, right? And so had I not taken action, where would I be? Well, I'll tell you what, had I not taken action, I know that I would be feeling very different right now. When I heard about, schools closing and the whole world being turned upside down, I had this confidence, right? Which is so rare, so unique. I'm not saying this to brag or whatever. I'm saying this out of gratitude to my 18-year-old self sitting on that couch that decided to take action. And over the next few months, as I started to invite. So guys, right now, people are open. I'm in Hawaii right now. A few years ago, I did a hike on Oahu. And you guys, maybe you've been to Hawaii, you've seen the crazy mountains that are here, right? That just like these crazy ridges that go up and up and up with green. And there is a hike called the Haiku Stairs. And people call it the Stairway to Heaven. It was to access some military radar station or whatever. They put a staircase all the way up this thing. And I did this hike years ago when we just had one kid. Now we have three. And it was scary. It was fun. And this is a little bit of what it looks like. Okay, guys, this isn't me. I just pulled this off the internet real quick. But these are stairs going all the way up this mountain. At one point, it's like straight up and down. It feels more like a ladder than a staircase. And it's starting to rust out and stuff. And you're looking at this thing going, holy smokes. But when you get to the top and every step along the way, you're grateful to be there, right? And I hope you see this as that type of journey. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's a little scary and dangerous sometimes, right? But as you're climbing, the higher you get, the better the view and the more of the world you are able to see. So guys, live a life of confidence, not fear. Take advantage of the time that you have. We have captive people, not captive people. People that are going, there's so many excuses and reasons why people are too busy to hear from us. But guess what, guys? They have no excuses as everybody in the world is on lockdown. So, guys, appreciate to be a part of this team. Thank you, everybody, for helping coach me and my team here on this call today. Thank you so much, guys. And everybody, make it a great day.
Wow, thanks so much, Derek. That was awesome. Great analogy. You just keep climbing and climbing and climbing. That's awesome stuff, man. And our pastor says all the time that you just made me think of it. We should make a living. We got people to support, but we also want to make a life and make a difference, right? And that's what it's all about. Make a living, make a life, and make a difference. And that's what we have the opportunity to do. Not what we have to do. We have the opportunity to do. So our next speaker, she's going to spend just a few quick minutes with us on the system. What is One Team Global? What's the system all about? She's from way up north from where I'm at here in Texas, up in Canada. She's been about in the business for about 2.5 years. She was in the health and the healthcare field for a long time. She's an Emerald executive with us. I want to introduce Miss Shirley Waters. please?
Hi, guys. Like Jason said, my name is Shirley Water, and I'm so honored to be on here today presenting to you guys about System 7 and the importance of One Team Global. So just a little bit about me before I get started. Like he mentioned, I've been in the healthcare field for 6 years, or 10 years altogether. 6 years as a nurse. I've been doing palliative care nursing for 6 years. And for 4 years prior to that, I was a healthcare aide. So those of you that are in the healthcare field realize that it's not easy. It's a really hard, difficult situation when you're missing when you're missing holidays with your kids and not being able to see your family all the time. It gets straining. And so I found myself 2.5 years ago really rethinking my life. Like, I always knew I wanted to help people in some sort of way. I just wasn't sure which way that was going to be. And so 2 years into nursing, we were still in debt quite a bit, about 50 grand, just because of nursing school, paying for childcare, that sort of thing. And I knew that I needed to do something more. And so I actually seen my maid of honor sister posting on social media about how she was helping people make money online, and it was really simple. And so I'm like, well, if she can do it, I can do it too. So I reached out, got the information, and got started. So when I started, my husband was very skeptical, and it took him about 3 months for him to kind of jump on board. And so we've actually been doing the business together since. So I've been married for going on 9 years, together for 14. We are blessed to have 2 beautiful little girls, Kyra and Macy. They are 7 and 9, and they are just our joy. About a year ago, I was able to go part-time in nursing, which has been amazing. So I've been able to be a present mom and a present wife. And we've just been really grateful to be able to travel the world and show our kids what life is all about, that it's not all about just working all the time and being away from home. And so we've been blessed to be on 2 success trips as well. We've been to Ireland, which we extended to Scotland, which was incredible. And we've also been to Bermuda too. And so looking forward to Hawaii. That'll be amazing as well. So let's get started. I've been asked to present on, let's see if this will switch over for me. There we go. On System 7 and the importance of One Team Global. So we're really, really lucky to be a part of this incredible community. So One Team Global is basically like with System 7 is basically the basics of our business, really. So if you go back to the workflow side of things, this is something that you want to master. And the only way to master it is literally by doing it over and over and over and over and over and over again. So like going back to when Liata was talking about setting goals, really, if you don't have a goal, you really don't have a destination. So the first thing to do is literally set a goal. And then going down to creating the contact list. And I know that Derek kind of spoke about the contact list and invites at the same time. If you don't create a contact list, you're going to find that you're wasting a lot of time just scrolling through Facebook and maybe using your mind to play games with you, telling you not to do it. So if you have a contact list to go off of, it's so much easier to start growing your business. And then actually pulling the trigger and doing the invites, actually asking people to take a look without judging. Don't prejudge people. And Derek made a really good point about that. And then when it comes to presenting and following up, the fortune's in the follow-up. That's one of the most important things to follow in here. And so, and then getting started and then the teamwork. And so if you follow the workflow chart and you're doing it consistently and daily, and if you don't know where to start on that workflow chart, make sure you follow up with your upline to definitely get some tips of where to start from there. So that's the workflow side of things. Moving into the event cycle. So this is the place where you literally get to start surrounding yourself around the people that you want to be and become. And so I know with everything happening in this world right now, people are starting to get scared because, oh, I'm not going to be able to grow my business because I like to do it offline. Well, now's the time to learn how to do it online. You have time at home and you have time to put into it. And so even though you have to switch things a little bit, you're still following the basics of the system. And so when it comes to doing personal presentations, just move it online. There's so many different platforms that you can use to do your one-on-one or your 3 people in a group conversations and so on and so forth. There's really no reason not to keep building your business and being personal about it. And then when we go down to the business briefings, here in Manitoba ourselves, we do a monthly business presentation in person normally. And, you know, I wasn't scared when I heard this was happening, because all we're going to do is move it online and do it through a Zoom meeting just like this. And so it really doesn't have to stop your business. If anything, it's going to help you grow your business faster because people are at home and people have time and they're a lot more open-minded right now because there's not a lot of other opportunities for them to make an income, right? And so moving down a little bit here, we have TEU, Team Elite University, which I'm so blessed and grateful that you guys we all put so much effort in here to get this online so our teams could really take take a lot away from this and fill their cup and really grow. And so I'm looking forward to what next month is going to be. But normally this is in Provo, Utah, and it's every third weekend of the month, and it's free to attend, and it's just really great because you get to surround yourself around really positive, like-minded people. And then going forward, we have the Success Summit, which is completely distributor ran, which is amazing. That was our first event we went to in July 2018. And after that event, we've been to numerous others, and we've never came alone. We always have team with us when we come, and so it's been really, really great. So there's tons of event cycles. If you are in an area where you're not sure where your events are, reach out to your upline and ask them. There's probably something going on in your area which you can be a part of. And then moving on to the core habits. So people that are successful in the business follow the core habits. So if you're not, I would suggest starting to follow them. So number one is being 100% product user, having over 25 or more products in your home. So I want you guys to put in your comments here, how many products do you use a day? Because I know I use way more than 25 products in our home. And it's just really interesting to see how many products people are actually using right now. And so in order to believe in the business, you have to have a product experience so that you can at least be proud of your company and know that this stuff works. And so that's number one. Number two is doing 15 personal presentations or more each month. And so, like I said, you're gonna have people that are gonna use excuses why this isn't gonna work. There's social media, just use your social media. There's tons of ways that you can have these presentations done with your upline or with yourself, whatever you do. So there's no excuses there, and you want to be striving for at least 15 personal presentations a month. And then number three, creating 2 or more new personal customers / ADRs each month. So if you don't know what ADR is, it's automatic delivery rewards. It's our monthly ordering system, which is incredible. And if you're following number one by being 100% product user in your home, you're going to have products that are going to give you before and after results. And guess what? If you go back to Christina and Nick's presentations, they gave you so many really cool ideas where you can promote these products without being salesy and annoying. And so just use your products. You will find customers through online as well. And then, like Derek was mentioning in number 4, achieving 3,000 GSB or more by the 15th of the month. This is something that to be successful, you must strive for, because by you doing that, it's going to continue into your organization as well, because they're going to follow your lead. That's what's going to happen. Then number 5, reading or listening to an OTG recommended book audio daily. Every morning, Monday to Friday at 8 a.m. Mountain Time, they have on One Team Global North America a 15-minute segment where we have such incredible speakers on there, and it's just been amazing, and it always fills my cup and it gets me motivated and inspired for the day. So make sure if you're not in there, tune in there, go follow the page, and then make sure you watch those every morning. And they're recorded, so if you're different time zones, you can use it that way too. Then next we have attending all OTG and Nu Skin events as described in the event cycle. So like I mentioned, there are little things or big things happening in this world right now, but don't use them as an excuse. If you don't have an event happening in your area and you don't want to wait just for this one, make one yourself. There is no reason why you cannot get the work put together and have your own business presentations online to share this amazing opportunity. And then being a team player. One of the things I tell our team all the time is get out of your head and come from your heart. Be a loving person. Respect your sidelines and make your own sideline friends, and don't cross line. You don't want to bring people down. Lift each other up. That's what we're here for. We're here to lift each other up and work together and just really just love each other, because we are a force for good. So I know that is really quick, brief presentation over our System 7, but I hope that you guys found a lot of value in this presentation, and I hope you have an incredible day.
Woo, Cheryl, thank you. Yes. Principles and systems work, guys. You look at any franchise, any successful venture out there, whether it's in the real estate world, in the healthcare world, in any franchise restaurant you can think of, systems, guys. Simple systems that are easy to follow. They work. So we are upon the end of this. We have one more speaker, and I wanted when we're planning this, we're like, okay, who can deliver, just the best punch right to your throat to get you in action right now, right? To close this thing out. A lot of times in the in-person events, Jeff Mack normally closes it, but I can't hardly think of a better replacement, since Jeff was not available, than the man I'm about to introduce. I'm blessed to call him my friend. He was a pro wakeboarder for over 10 years, at the top of it, just a pioneer of wakeboarding. He's been with Nu Skin for 16 years and been a team elite with them for 14 years. He is a circle of excellence. Everybody knows this guy's face, and I'm excited to hear how he's going to close this event out. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been so much fun to share this event with you guys. And Charlie, I can't wait to hear you, brother.
All right, brother. From Texas to Oregon, and great to have you all on with us this morning. This has been an extraordinary couple or few hours that we've come together from around the world. If I have not had the opportunity of meeting you before, I look forward to meeting you at one of our upcoming events when we can high five, we can bro down, we can give some hugs. Until then, we'll be meeting online, and excited for that and to get to know each of you that move forward in our business and those that you bring along with you. My background, as Jason mentioned, is that of being an athlete. I was a high school athlete in 3 sports. I was recruited to college, Division I college for football and track. And then I ended up deciding just to do track at University of Oregon. I went on leaving in my senior year where I was studying biology and exercise and movement science pre-med, and decided that after seeing the sport of wakeboarding for the first time in 1994 and having a feeling of really a fear of loss, FOMO, right? Like, what if this happens? What I believe and I envision happening happens without me. I am going to live in regret for the rest of my life. And so I dropped everything, left the University of Oregon, go Ducks, went to Florida where I'd never been, went into the unknown, right? As a quote from Elsa there on Frozen 2. Thank you for the shout out there, Christina. And, went to Florida in pursuit of not just learning how to wakeboard, but becoming a professional wakeboarder. And that led me to a 10-year incredible career, traveling around the world, being one of the pioneers of the sport, grassroots, X Games, Pro Tour, and really the development and hands in every area that I could. And product development, had signature products, wakeboards, helped design boats. I mean, what wakeboard is today, had a lot of involvement in what that is. And about 17 years ago, I recognized for the first time in my life at 30 years old, holy smokes, and it just bang hit me. I stepped out of bed, put my feet on the floor, and all of a sudden I was like, man, I went from being, I could never imagine not wakeboarding, where I had blood, sweat, and tears. And then all of a sudden, feet on the ground, I'm looking at the lake from my bed in Florida, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And that was when it hit me that I had linear income, and that when I stopped, my income was going to stop. That was horrific. Like, that was the scariest thing that I had ever imagined, because I loved my lifestyle. And I worked like a crazy person for 10 years for that lifestyle, with a CEO income and being one of the top income earners in the sport of wakeboarding, traveling the world, pioneering, and I loved it. And then I didn't love it. Boom, it was like a switch. And I was going, what the heck am I going to do? And that was scary. Recently, I had a conversation in a hot tub right before we got in this in-play stuff where we're in our homes, and I was in a hot tub with a 30-year friend of mine, a girl that I did track and field with at the University of Oregon, brilliant woman, and she lives here locally with me and her family, and see them regularly. And she was asking, hey, how's business going right now? And I said, oh my gosh, these are the times that we thrive. These are the times that we grow the most. And she was perplexed, and she's actually even done Nu Skin twice with me. And her husband and I and she were sitting in the hot tub, and I said, well, and here's why. And I said, it's because of leverage. She said, I want leverage, right? I want leverage income. We have our own business, no leverage. I get that. I want leverage. Yet I sell. And I said, I get it. I get it. And that's why you didn't do what was necessary back then, when the 2 times you've done Nu Skin, and not judgment, I believe it's perfect, that you actually didn't move forward to do what was necessary to create leverage, and thus you don't have leverage, right? And so now her business is not running, and there's no money coming in. So, I said that the difference is that when I saw this, my fear was so great of things staying the same that, or getting worse, that I was willing to do whatever it took morally and ethically to build something of leverage. Whatever it took. I mean, we heard it from Derek, right? Like he was going from getting married, like he was a Lapis and wanted to get married. Man, you can't get married and pay for a family as a Lapis. And so boom, Diamond, and then Blue Diamond, and then Team Elite, right? Things had to change. When the fear of staying the same is greater than the fear of change, then a human being will change. It's a precipice. This is biblical, right? When things are so bad that I will do whatever it takes, my back's against the wall, massive pressure, guess what? You get more traction. It's like driving out in the snow here in Bend, Oregon. Man, I want more. I want my rig weighted. I got to put some weights in the back, get more pressure and more weight on it, and I get more traction. And so, you know, that's at the point that people make decisions. I said with her in the hot tub, I said, things aren't bad enough for you yet. And I hope that they don't ever get that bad for you yet. What are you going to do when that thing happens? And she's like, it's happening. And I said, yes, it is. Right. And so let me just dive a little bit more into, you know, my career on like why this would happen. Right. So it went from being a professional athlete and traveling the world and loving what I'm doing, right, on the covers of magazines, to then going, okay, wow, you're only as good as your last cover. So why would I go from this guy to this guy? Why would I make that change? Because I didn't want to live in the glory years. I did not ever. I was committed that I would do whatever it took. From my point A that I was into that moment, right, realizing this at the end of December 2003, to then looking, going, okay, I've got to find it. I don't know what it is, but it's got to be leveraged for me to do it moving forward, because I am done with linear income. I'm not a victim to it. I choose to do something different. I'm going to find it. And that was in January when I was invited into the basement of Jed and Alicia Knight's home. I was then put on a call with Nathan Ricks to answer my questions. And he said, if you are coachable and you are willing to change, all right, then you can create success here. And you will create leverage, what you said you wanted. And so that was it, right? That was what I wanted. And I put my head down, you guys, and I'm not telling you this is what you're going to do. This is what I did. And I do not know why God, I know now, but at that time, I did not know why God, and I'm a faithful man. I believe there's a plan for all this, and the past is perfect. I did not know why he had me. I worked for 4 years straight, no breaks, not a day off. I got a success trip. I didn't go on it. I didn't want to go on it. I put it off until I was a Blue Diamond, and then finally said, okay, cool, you know, I'll go on the trip, okay? Because I was focused, laser focused, disciplined, and consistent with actions because I wanted it so bad. The burning desire, the inspiration in here from inside. Didn't need anyone else to tell me to work. I just needed to know what to do, then following the system that both Derek and Nick and Shirley, both, all three of them talked about, right? And so then along my journey, you know, I've been a team elite. At this point, I meet my wife. I've been a team elite for 5 of the 6.5 years that I've been with the company. We get married, right? And something happened for the first time in my life is that once again, but yet not in a financial sense, in a relationship sense, we get married, have a week wedding, and just dream. That's actually right outside of where Derek is right now on Tunnels Beach. And then we have our honeymoon in South Africa. And we come home from South Africa honeymoon, 3 weeks, and my wife says, I'm lonely. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about, lonely? We just got back from South Africa. She's like, yeah, you worked the whole time. And except when I didn't have cell service. And I was like, okay. She goes, I understand how people have affairs because I am lonely. And if this doesn't change, I see bad things in the future. And so she started talking, you know, I realized, oh my gosh, this is the same problem, right? Same girl, different face. The problem is me. It's me. So we extended that 3 weeks to 2 years. Now, that was my second this thing, okay? Or that thing happened that my wife asked me to spend more time with her. And because I had built this global sales business and worked like a crazy person, that I didn't have to check in with a boss. I didn't have to ask permission. I didn't have to answer to anyone. No one in my team cared, okay? Like, literally, they didn't even know. I had a conversation with Nick Weineker about 2 years into this honeymoon, and I said, Nick, do you think I should tell people that I'm, you know, our team and stuff, that I haven't been working for about 2 years? And he goes, I don't think you should have told me, because I would literally pretend to do something when he would like come by the house. And I had this like crazy glass house. Anyways, so I didn't, the great thing is a business, like we talked about, Jason talked about earlier, is that business kept going because no one was doing it for Charlie. No one. They were doing it for themselves, and there was leverage. I experienced it for the first time. The first time in my life, I stopped working and I actually experienced leverage. Now, I missed that after 2 years so much that I re-engaged in the business and began building aggressively again. Was really excited, great things happening. You know, the economy was down. We heard from, you know, Terry too coming in about that time, and things were cranking. I was having so much fun. And we have our first daughter, Charlie Rose. We moved to LA, and oh my gosh, that thing happened. We find out, Charlie and Christy, you're pregnant with 4 kids at one time, okay? And so out of nowhere, right, wasn't expecting my wife to say, hey, I want you to not work. Wasn't expecting the doctor to tell us that we're gonna have 4 babies at one time, and how like dangerous and my wife's life was on the line literally every day since she got pregnant, through them being born, and the kids were life and death the whole time too. Odds were against us. I didn't check in with you. I didn't ask anybody's permission. I focused on where my time was needed, where I felt I must be, okay? My business continued. We had the best year that I've ever had in Nu Skin, and I was focused on my family. Why? Once again, because no one was doing it for Charlie. Every individual is their own business. They don't have a boss. They don't have employees. And because we had invested in people, right, before I checked out, I had invested in people and helped them, teach them how to generate sales and generate a leveraged business, okay, that I could focus on where I wanted to be. I had choice. Okay, so we make it through that. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. I'm still astonished that those 5 kids, right, the 4 kids, then were born on their older sister, Charlie Rose's birthday. And bam, right, I go from 1 to 5 kids in 6 months. Talk about a life change. If that kind of stuff happens to you, I hope that you have a Team Elite business, a very healthy and mature one, right? So, you know, we get, you know, like, okay, got through that. And I had a friend ask me, hey, will you help me build what you built in South Africa? Christy and I get an agreement. Yeah, you know what? Let's help Lloyd out and help him work on that. We're, you know, he's like a brother to me. Start working with him online, very much like Nick Jackson, you know, talked about on how to build it. Started with them, building an organization and a team and creating sales in South Africa. Going down there every other month with Nick Weineker, because it's Nick's business as well. And we've got great leaders, and Christina Cooper-Gum and Navini and others, Kelly Beveridge, that are down there working with us. And Nick and I rotate in the market every month. Well, twice last year, 2 times, I get a call from my wife that our sweet little Sunny Sue is in the ambulance on the way to the doctor. The first time, didn't know if she was going to live. I'm 50 hours away, okay? And the second time, called me when she got to the hospital, and they had no idea what was going on with her, but it was severe. And I didn't ask anybody permission. I didn't check in with anybody. I called Delta, asked them to get me on the next flight, and I was on it, and my team took over and did what I was scheduled to do, and they did not think about me again, except to hope this Sunny Sue is okay. And these are all photos after the fact of those events. But my point with this, you guys, is are you prepared, and are the people that you would like to work with, are they prepared for that thing? Okay, before this, in January 2020, at the kickoff of North America, it was stated from stage, 39% of Americans when needed another $400, would need to take out a loan. 39% of Americans would need to take out a loan to access an extra $400. 12% of Americans, right, could not take out a loan. They would not be able to afford $400 extra. That was the state before all of this craziness, like a movie, had happened, which things are much more severe now, right? And so, were you prepared? And this is all going to work itself out. It takes whatever, 5 years, takes for the economy and everything. The longer that we're in this situation and how long it takes us to work it out, then are you going to be prepared for that next thing that happens for you, right? Because we all have it. I mean, I just given you those examples of for me over and over and over, and there's going to be more. My wife and I, after we put our kids down to sleep, we're doing our normal shower debriefing the other day, and she just said, I am so blessed. I feel so blessed and grateful that you've worked so hard over all these years and built this business, that in times like this, that we're not stressed out about our own personal situation. We're stressed about how we can help others. And that's our concerns. And being outward focused instead of being focused just on me. Now, many of you guys, many of you and many of the people that you're going to be reaching out to, as Derek and Shirley guided and recommended, that they're not in that position, and they're thinking about themselves, and that's okay. All right, that is okay, and we have the ability to help them. All right. So what's different about today, right? And what was different about my situation is that there are three things, and really why I've been working in South Africa so aggressively for the last year and a half plus, is because when the economy is unstable, or the currency, or both, and or the government are unstable, then that is our sweet spot. Why? Why does that happen? Because people's minds, they open to things that they were not thinking about, or they wouldn't look at, they wouldn't listen to. Just like our economy, and Nick and others were talking about today, that our economy's been cranking. We have had the greatest economy in the world, all right, while other countries are in recession, and our economy is booming until literally a week, 2 weeks ago, cranking. So what happens that time? And I think Derek talked about it as well, saying, during times like when the economy's cranking, people aren't, they're not looking. They're like, man, I am good. I'm making good money, not even thinking about when that thing happens to them. It's out of their mind. They're blind. They have blind spots to the fact with linear income, right? With the result of that, based on like inflation of 5%, as well as people are going to work every day for the rest of their lives. And the cost of living is going to double based on 5% inflation every 14.4 to 14.5 years. So what are you going to do? Right? That's out of their minds when things are good. Then you take all that away, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, stock market's down. Oh, my investments. Okay, I'm not able to go to work. How am I going to pay for the roof? How am I going to pay for my family? And hopefully there is a lot of pressure on those people, because that is when change happens. That is when people like me and Jason and Nick and Derek and others, right, that we already heard about, and Liata, right, her husband's situation with health. When you're at a precipice, which people are at right now, and they're not prepared for this thing, it's helping them get prepared for the next thing. And that is what we do. And so I'd like to bring on a very, very dear friend now, someone that I met about a year and a half ago. And his name's David Bandy. He is an extraordinary man. I know him because my very first call with him and his wife down in South Africa was an introduction from my good friend, Lloyd Stocks. And David, if you go ahead and take your camera off of, or turn your camera on, and go ahead and turn your mic on here when it's done. Introducing, there I can hear you. Thank you. David Bandy, as you can see there, he studied finance. He is a partner with two of his brothers in a installation businesses in South Africa. And the guy is a brilliant mind. He's a workhorse. One of the most supportive husbands that I have ever experienced from day one, from first conversation. Even though this was Donna's thing, in the very beginning, and for quite some time along their journey, he has been involved and part of the equation and reinforcing and supportive, and just become another one of my brothers. And so, David, I'm really proud to be a friend of yours. I'm proud to work with you. Proud to have you part of the team, and I'd love for you to come on and share your background, and then I've got a series of questions that I'd love to ask you, because it's such an incredible time for us in what's going on. David Bandy.
Great, thanks, Charlie. Wow, what an intro! That is amazing. So I'm Dave Bandy from